There are certainly the cost efficiency improvements that can be gained by just having a more efficient organisation in terms of how information flows within it, and the cost savings can be quite dramatic. So we've worked to business cases where it's been a minimum requirement of to take 30% out is what we've needed to achieve. I've seen cases where that's been far more. And if I go back to the capability-based view of the world, let's just take accounts payable and imagine that that's the capability that we're looking at for a moment. Within that, it has its own set of processes, it has its own tools and technology to make that happen, its own organizational structures. Now, the useful thing about looking at these things from a capability perspective is that capabilities will be fairly consistent from one organization to the next. So two organizations are both likely to have an accounts payable capability. But the way they do that is probably going to be very different. So one might be take a very manual approach to accounts payable, whereas the other might be completely automated. And in our experience, we have seen that we can go with our standard platforms in place and so on. We can go to an organisation and say, look, you focus you own the capability at the end of the day. We'll focus on delivering that in a more efficient, automated way. And we've been able to make dramatic cost improvements to just the way that capability operates, and reducing debtor days and all sorts of things around that. So firstly, there is a lot of cost and productivity improvements to be made through looking at organisations in this way. Certainly when you look at it from that perspective, then you can say, well, what other improvements and benefits could be achieved? And there's the productivity improvements just by having a more effectively working organisation. There's also what sort of revenue gains can be made. And you can think of customer service improvements, you can think of improvements to the sales sort of front end, you can think of improvements to the way products and services are put together and produced and manufactured and delivered at the end of the day. You can think of improvements to inventory through having better information available, what to stock, what not to stock, and all sorts of things. So at the end of the day, it can impact, if you do it properly, almost every single part of the organisation. But it needs a holistic view of it, and it needs somebody to take ownership. Can benefits be achieved by just looking at separate parts of it? Absolutely. Where are the biggest benefits to be gained? From looking at it holistically and in a unified way across the business.